Shalom, welcome to another crown jewel word analysis. Today we have various words and considering we're all grown-up adults here, we're going to deal with several words that have to do with the reproduction process, okay? So that includes penis, vagina, womb, sperm, erexia, words such as those. Because we're treating here and then the English words through the scope of the crown jewel. Because the reproduction process is of course a very important topic, right? Life as we know it is made possible, the cycle thereof, right? So, okay, that being said, let's start. I will go back to a word of which I already did a short video. So that would be mum, right? We call our mother mum. And you'll see how everything is connected. So, mum. Mum was 40 plus 6 is 86, which is the value of Elohim. Okay, so Elohim would be found in Bina, which is the left column, feminine, okay? Abba is in Chochma, this is right column. I also explained that you can see in the word mum that the waters of the womb, Vav being binding, Mem being earth or solids. So the binding of solids within the water of the womb. This is mum, okay? So we'll do waters, binding, and then solids. In this case, new life. How did that life come in? The womb. So this is what it's about today. Next word, before we go there, would be then the female reproduction organ, which is the vagina, of course, and we would write it as follows. So, for the V, we have a Vav, and then we have a Gimel, and then a Yud for the I. This is the G, I, and then a Nun, and a Hey, vagina, okay. So immediately, again, we see the bindings, okay, Vav, binding, progress. Yud is the seminal drop, the seed, which is Nun, fish, swimming, Hey, within, okay. So the vagina is binding progress of the seed, that is a fish that swims within. You can find this information in there. The location, the exact location is of course the womb. And the womb, simple, we would, because we write it with W-O-M-B, but the B is silent, so phonetically you don't write it, okay? So you get womb, Vav, Mem, which is exactly the last two letters of mum also, right? The waters binding solids, okay? The womb is for binding solids. That's its function. So nothing is random or coincidental. You can clearly see it in every single language you can find it. Of course, the original Hebrew language, and I'm not speaking about modern day Hebrew. The Lashon HaKodesh is very different from all the Klippothic versions that came later, but you can still subtract a lot of information from all these other languages, each and every one of them. Okay, so we've had then the part of the mother here, so to say, and I showed you on the Kabbalistic tree that it was the left side. Okay, so now we'll go to the dad, because there's a lot to say about the dad which we didn't treat yet. So dad, you could write it with Dalet, Aleph, Dalet. Oh, take this one, a little bigger. Dalet, Aleph, Dalet. Now, first of all, the Aleph is made up out of a Vav and two Yuds. This can be seen as the testicles and the yesod of the male. Can also be the ovaries and the birth canal of the female, but in this case that definitely, and the Gematria Ketan, ordinal as well as regular, is 9. And the 9th day is Chochmah. Go back to the tree. So here we are again. This was Bina, right? Left column, Elohim. Here's Chochmah, whiteness, right? The white is the seed, right? Whiteness of Abba that's brought into the womb of Ima, who later gives life through the breast feeding, which is a part of the cycle, of course. And that whiteness originates from the seed that entered the womb. Okay, so that is right column. So this is masculine, this is feminine. Don't, even though you have right, left column, here you get another depiction of masculine and feminine, but that's not what we're dealing with today. So we'll keep it to the Chochmah and Bina, Abba ve'ima, the 9th day. From down, counted upwards, this is day 9. So when we say the 9th day, we always speak about Chochmah Abba. So that's the value of that. So we'll write here Chochmah. Okay? Chochmah. And nice to know the Vav and 2 Yuds. I will show you that also, because it's also explained upon in Likkutei Yirah 9, which I have here in front of me. If you cannot afford a physical copy, but you can order one, and it is, you see, I have a lot of tabs on it. It's really good for study purposes, and it's good to support it. And so if you can afford one, buy it on bookbaby.com or amazon.com. If you cannot afford one, everyone should be able to access this information. So we have a free PDF available. Just ask for it in the comment section. I will be glad to provide you with one. We have it in a couple of languages even. So you see it here. This is Chesed, Gevura, Tiferes, Netzachot, and Yisod. Yisod is the reproductive organ. You see it now standing upwards. So this is really also an Aleph. An Aleph is 2 Yuds and a Vav. So that's why I wanted to show you. So the Yisod, both the female and the male have a Yisod, of course. Now, to go further where we were, so that is interesting also, because what does that do? If we square it, triangular expansion, Dalet, Dalet Aleph, Dalet Aleph, Dalet, we have 4 fours is 16 plus 2 is 18. 18 is Chai. life. Wisdom gives life to its possessor. Chokhmah gives life to its possessor. Okay? So everything's connected. Again, let's proceed. So, okay, so the mother has a vagina, the father has a penis, of course. So penis, how would one write penis? So we have a Fe, a Nun, a Yud, and a Sameh. Interesting word, the sum total is 200. The Fe, to begin with, we find it on the tree, situated here, between water and earth. The Fe values 80. Now 80 is the value of Yisod. Yisod is 80. What else can we say? Fe is mouth. Okay, so but the mouth, it takes in and it brings forth. The Yisod of the face, the Kabbalistic tree, you have the tree of the face, Alpaneh, is the mouth. And the Yisod of the Gufa, of the body, is the reproductive organ. So it's not surprising that the word starts with the Fe, that's telling. And yes, so the Nun, fish, soul. Okay, fish, soul, Yud, and Sameh. I know in Dutch even we have like 5 different words for the male reproductive organ that start with the P, so the Fe. In English there's also a couple, and I wouldn't be surprised. I know in Portuguese there's a couple, and in Spanish, if in many languages you would find the letter P in the male reproductive organ. Now of course, then you have here soul and spirit, right? Soul and spirit cycle, because this giving of life, of course, this now if you look at a Peshat, a lower representation, which is the physical representation, so we look now at a mother and a father, then you'll see that what makes it, because you're not your soul and you are not your spirit. Yes, you have a soul and you have a spirit, but there needs to be a sort of a housing, right, to go about in Asiya. So this phallus is the cycle, tool for cycling spirit soul, what keeps the spirit and the soul. Okay, so it's a cycle, because if you die, you have to gilgul. A mother and a father, they will have to procreate, and then there will have to be the decision to put that soul in that place. Well, that's a whole other study, so but that is found in this word as well. Now the next is interesting, because what does this penis produce, or what it doesn't produce it, what does it bring forth, what ejects from it is of course the seed, the sperm, right? We call that sperm. That's Sameh, Fe, another Fe, cycle, right, to the Yisod, forming solids. And where are these solids formed? In the womb of Ima. Okay? So, but there is a solid substance, right, injected into, which further on solidifies more and becoming the baby, where the Chokhmah Bina Das of the baby is created in the Netzachoid and Yisoid, which again would be the birth canal, and the 2 ovaries flipped around. You have the same symbol for the female reproduction area there, so to say. So then sperm is interesting, because sperm, this value is 200 plus 80 plus 60 plus 40 is 400. Value is 400. Now this again would be then Yesod. This is again is the cycles, right? The cycle of Yesod forming solids. So that was clear. That is the sperm. Now, for me, this word was a nutcracker, and it is really a Latin medical term for it. It's namely erexia. Erexia. And this again is the symbol, right? But it's one form. And then this is skull, kuf, skull. And on the skull sits a crown, right? And the crown is really found also in this Latin medical language. It's namely the corona glandis, which is the ridge of the glands, right? The ridge of the glands, which is a sensory trigger to eject the sperm, okay? It helps to eject the sperm. So that's all found there. And then the form is a pillar, right? It's erected. That's a phallus symbol. It's erected. And then through this erected pillar comes the supernal seed, and it is injected within, because hay is within, behold, within. See how everything, but really everything is connected. And then the other interesting thing is that you find in this word also some root letters, rakia. There's no iron, but raki. And then here you see the malchut, which is Asiya, and the rakia firmament leads to the heavens, which is in Zerampin. Okay, so an erection points upwards. Okay, so yeah, I hope that was helpful. One last thing I wanted to share is to show you how we pervert really matters that are very holy, right? We use a certain word for procreation as a curse word, and it starts with an F and it ends with a K, and it's a 4-letter word. I won't name it because I don't want to sound rude and it might be rejected somewhere. We don't want that, but in Hebrew it would be fe, kuf, fuk. So in Katan is interesting because this is an 8 and this is a 1. So we have here an 18, which again was high life, right? So to procreate is not a curse, it's giving life. It's really, really not a nice thing to use it in that way, right? So, and the Gematria value here is 180, which is 10 times high life to a whole tree. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I hope this was helpful. Many blessings, much love. Till the next video. Shalom.